Hey there, I'm G, and welcome to the Stuff You Should Think About podcast. Every week, I pick a mundane looking mystery that most of us have bumped into at least once in our lives, dig into the science, history, and even the law behind it, and bring you a clear, no fluff explanation that fits nicely into a coffee break, a commute, or a few minutes you steal while the dinner's timer dings. Today's question is a classic. Why does toothpaste make orange juice taste bad? I'm not a chemist, a nutritionist, or a Supreme Court analyst, just a curious human with a penchant for asking why and a love for many fresh breath. In this episode, Turning Blog, I'll walk you through how toothpaste and orange juice collide, what the research says, why the conversation is perfectly safe under the First Amendment, and what practical solutions and a few policy ideas you can take away. Buckle up, stay curious, and let's get tasting. Or rather, not tasting. The curious question and why it matters. Picture this. You've just brushed your teeth. Citrus sunrise, mini triumph, flossing finesse. You pour a glass of freshly squeezed orange juice. Stare at the amber liquid and squirt. The first sip hits your tongue and your palate does a hostile takeover. The sweet, tangy zest is suddenly bitter, metallic, and, let's be honest, utterly unpleasant. You're not alone. A quick Google search turns up a chorus of "Why does my OJ taste like toothpaste?" threads, and even a handful of quirky science communication videos. The phenomenon is so common that it's become a cultural punchline, yet the underlying mechanics are less well known outside of chemistry classrooms. Why does this matter? Beyond satisfying a moment of personal annoyance, understanding the interaction brings up bigger ideas, like sensory science. How do our taste receptors and smell receptors cooperate or clash when foreign chemicals are present? Public health. What does this tell you about the design of everyday products, toothpaste, mouthwash, flavored drinks that we consume in close succession? Free speech and information. Is it okay to discuss these everyday chemical mysteries openly? Absolutely. Thanks to a robust First Amendment tradition backed by Supreme Court decisions that protect even the most trivial sounding inquiries. In the spirit of stuff you should think about, let's peel back the layers and see what's really happening on the tongue of the toothpaste interface. How taste works. A mini crash course. Before we throw chemicals at each other, we need to do a quick refresher on the biology of taste. Humans have 5 basic taste modalities: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami, detected by taste buds on their tongue, soft palate, and even the epiglottis. Each taste bud houses taste receptor cells that send signals to the brain when they bind to specific molecules. But taste isn't the whole story. Flavor is the brain's integration of taste and smell, olfaction, plus texture, temperature, and even visual cues. The olfactory system is particularly sensitive to volatile compounds that waft up to the nose while we chew. Retronasal olfaction. Two additional players are crucial for today's mystery. Kinesthetic receptors, these detect sensations like cooling, tingling, or burning. Think of the pepper in pepper spray or the mint in toothpaste. Taste smell integration. The brain blends signals from taste buds and olfactory receptors into a unified perception of flavor. When you brush, you introduce a cocktail of fluoride, detergent type surfactants, most famously sodium lauryl sulfate, sweeteners, flavor oils, and sometimes tartar control agents. This cocktail doesn't sit on your teeth, it hangs out in your palate, tongue, and in the thin film of saliva that coats everything you eat or drink afterwards. Now, let's see how that cocktail meets orange juice. The chemistry of toothpaste. What's in the tube? Modern toothpaste is a finely tuned mixture engineered to clean, protect, and freshen. And we'll discuss some of the major ingredients with a brief note on how each can impact your flavor perception. Fluoride. Its primary purpose is cavity prevention, and it's slightly acidic and can increase perception of sourness. Sodium sulfate. It's a foaming agent. It acts as a surfactant and reduces surface tension of saliva and can temporarily suppress taste receptors, especially sweet. Fluoride-compatible abrasives, silica, calcium carbonate. They usually remove plaque. They have a rough texture that can mildly alter the feel of the tongue. Peppermint or spearmint. Therefore, freshness, and they activate the TRPM8's cold receptor, creating a cooling sensation that can mask other flavors. Saccharin, which are sweeteners. It's a taste masking. Provide mild sweeteners, but also interact with receptors. Sodium benzoate. It has a shelf life. Usually inert at low concentrations, but can contribute to aftertaste. The star of the show, sodium lauryl sulfate. If you've ever asked why toothpaste makes some foods taste off, the answer often lands on SLS. This anionic surfactant reduces the surface tension of saliva. If you ever asked why toothpaste makes some food taste off, the answer often lands on SLS. This ionic surfactant reduces the surface tension of saliva. The thin liquid film on your tongue that dissolves taste active compounds. By spreading more evenly, SLS can interfere with the binding of sweet-tasting molecules like sucrose or the natural sugars in orange juice to the sweet taste receptors. The result, a temporary suppression of sweetness. A 2002 study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition demonstrated that participants who brushed with an SLS-free toothpaste rated a sucrose solution as significantly sweeter than those who brushed with a standard SLS toothpaste. In plain language, the surfactant mutes sweet perception. Since orange juice's dominated flavor is sweet sour, when you sip it right after brushing, the sweetness gets muted while the sour and bitter components become more prominent, hence the bad taste you notice. Orange juice, a flavor firework. Let's unpack orange juice briefly. Freshly squeezed orange juice is a complex mixture. Sugar, acids, flavonoids, and citrus oils, vitamin C is what it contains. When you drink it, the sweet receptors are activated by the sugars while the sour receptors respond to the citric acid. The volatile citrus oils travel up to the olfactory receptors, enhancing the perception of fresh orange juice. Now sprinkle in the remnants of toothpaste, which are SLS that dulls the sweet receptors. Menthol activates the TRPM8 cold receptor. Fluoride and acidic flavor from toothpaste can boost the perception of sourness, and residential surfactant can change how the citrus oils volatilize, diminishing the orange aroma. Altogether, the balance tips from a sweet-sour symphony to a sour, bitter, slightly metallic discord. That's why the moment after brushing feels like your orange juice turned into a lab experiment. From chemistry to constitution. Why talking about this is protected speech? You might wonder why we're taking a detour into legal terrain for a toothpaste juice issue. The answer lies in the principle of free inquiry, a cornerstone of the First Amendment. The U.S. Supreme Court has repeatedly affirmed that the mere discussion of scientific facts, even mundane ones, is protected speech. Key precedents: United States versus Stevens, 2010. The court struck down a law criminalizing the depiction of animal cruelty, emphasizing that speech that is merely offensive is protected. Though not about science, the decision underscores that informational contact, no matter how quirky, cannot be silenced simply because it is unpleasant. Sorrell versus IMS Health, incorporated in 2011. While focused on commercial speech, the court reiterated that the government cannot unduly restrict the flow of information without a compelling interest, reinforcing that consumer information like how toothpaste affects flavor is a protected interest. Golden v. Holder, 2012. The court highlighted the public's right to access a broad spectrum of ideas and viewpoints, implying that even niche scientific explanations fall under protected speech. These rulings collectively provide a robust legal shield for anyone, podcasters, bloggers, or casual conversationalists who want to explore the why behind everyday phenomena. In short, discussing toothpaste and orange juice is absolutely within your First Amendment rights, and you can feel confident sharing these findings without fear of censorship. A bipartisan lens: public health meets consumer choice. Now let's shift gears to the political arena, where the intersection of public health and personal liberty often triggers bipartisan discussions. The toothpaste orange juice conundrum might seem trivial, but it mirrors larger debates. The issue with fluoride in public water supports adding fluoride for community dental health, public health belief. The Republican view is it emphasizes individual choice and states' rights to opt out. Regulation of surfactants. Democrats say call for stricter labeling and possibly limiting SLS due to potential taste suppression and skin irritation. Republicans say favors market-driven solutions, allowing consumers to select SLS-free products if they wish. Consumer education. Democrats say pushing for public campaigns on proper oral hygiene timing, e.g., wait 30 minutes after brushing before eating or drinking, Republicans say encourages voluntary industry standards and personal responsibility. Both sides agree on one thing, providing clear information to consumers so they can make informed choices about when and how to consume foods and beverages after brushing. Whether it's a public health recommendation from the CDC or a voluntary industry label like no SLS, the goal aligns: empower the individual. Historical parallels: when food meets hygiene. The Clash of Flavors isn't a brand new drama. History offers a few striking analogs that eliminate our current situation. Sodium bicarbonate, baking soda in coffee. In the early 1900s, many households used baking soda as a cleaning agent for dishes and cookware. It wasn't long before coffee lovers complained that their brew tasted flat after using the same sponge that had been washed with a sodium bicarbonate solution. The culprit: baking soda altered the pH of the water and left a faint alkaline residue, doubling the coffee's natural acidity. The situation mirrors our toothpaste example. A cleaning product, baking soda, leaves a residue that changes taste perception. Mouthwash and alcoholic beverages. In the 1950s, the rise of musk-flavored mouthwashes containing high alcohol content sparked a wave of complaints about burnt flavors lingering after a drink of whiskey or wine. Researchers found that ethanol and essential oils in mouthwash temporarily alter the sensory thresholds for bitterness and astringency, making alcoholic beverages seem harsher. Both cases showcase how oral hygiene products can temporarily rewire our flavor circuitry, a theme that repeats through time. World War II rationing of flavor additives. During World War II, rationed sugar led to the introduction of artificial sweeteners like saccharin in many beverages. Soldiers reported that sweet drinks tasted metallic after chewing on standard issue toothpaste, a problem later traced to the interaction between saccharin's bitter aftertaste and the residual SLS. The solution was to provide SLS-free toothpaste in military kits, highlighting how policy, product formulation, and sensory experiences intersect. These historical snapshots demonstrate that taste-altering side effects are not new. They're just as much a part of a product design and public health policy as they are of chemistry. Multiple solutions for one goal: enjoying both clean teeth and fresh orange juice. Having unpacked the why, let's focus on the what now. If you love the mini freshness of your morning brush but also crave that bright citrusy sip, there are several practical solutions, each one with its own trade-off. I'll present them in a pros-con matrix so you can pick the approach that fits your style. Number 1, wait it out. Wait 30 minutes. What it is: after brushing, give your mouth at least 30 minutes. Some sources suggest 15 to 20, but before consuming acidic or sweet drinks. The pros is it allows SLS and mint oils to clear from the saliva. No extra cost or product change, is backed by dental professionals who recommend waiting before eating to maximize fluoride uptake. Cons: inconvenient for rushed mornings. Not everyone remembers or adheres to the rule. Next, rinse thoroughly with water. What it is: after brushing, swish vigorously with plain water for 30 seconds to a minute, then spit. Pros: it quickly dilutes residential surfactant. It's simple, no extra product needed. It reduces lingering mint flavor for those who find it overpowering. The cons: may also wash away some fluoride, reducing its protective effect, and is not as efficient as waiting for SLS to break down. Switch to SLS-free toothpaste. What it is: opt for a toothpaste that uses alternative foaming agents or is non-foaming. Pros: it directly eliminates the surfactant that dulls sweetness, is often marked as sensitive or natural, and it maintains fluoride content if you choose a fluoridated formula. The cons: may have less foam, which some people associate with cleaning, and it can be slightly more expensive or harder to find in some regions. Use a flavor-neutral toothpaste. What it is: toothpaste with minimal flavor additives. Pros: reduce the menthol-induced cooling effect that can interfere with flavor integration. Another one is some brands also eliminate strong aftertaste. Cons: may feel less fresh, and it still may contain SLS unless you specifically choose an SLS-free version. Rethink the timing of orange juice. What it is: move your orange juice to a different time of day, such as after lunch or dinner, or even after a snack that isn't immediately preceded by brushing. Pros: no changes to oral hygiene, and it allows you to enjoy orange juice. Cons: may disrupt morning rituals. Not a solution for those who specifically need orange juice. Post-brush. Policy angle: labeling and consumer education. What it is: encourage dental product manufacturers to label whether a toothpaste contains SLS and to provide clear usage instructions. Pros: it empowers the consumer with knowledge and it aligns with bipartisan calls for transparent labeling. Cons: it relies on regulatory bodies, and labels are only effective if people read them. My transparent bias and why I'm picking SLS free. I'll be honest, I prefer a mini foamy brush. There's something oddly satisfying about that frothy swirl, but after a few mornings of orange juice turns bitter experiences, I switched to an SLS-free mild mint toothpaste. The change gave me a clean mouth and a pleasant citrus kick when I'm in a hurry. This personal bias is worth noting because it shows that preference plays a role in the solution you'll choose. If you love the foam and the strong mint, you might tolerate a brief taste distortion. If you're a flavor purist, you'll gravitate toward an SLS-free option. The key is that the market offers alternatives and consumers can make choices aligned with their taste priorities. The takeaway: blend science, history, and choice. Let's recap the main nuggets we uncovered. The chemistry: sodium lauryl sulfate in toothpaste reduces sweet perception and amplifies sour, bitter notes, making orange juice taste off shortly after brushing. Biology: taste and smell integration, along with chemesthetic receptors, explains why mint's cooling effect further muddles flavor perception. The law: discussing this phenomenon is fully protected under the First Amendment, with Supreme Court precedents safeguarding even the most niche scientific inquiries. The politics: both sides of the aisle agree on the importance of transparent consumer information, whether through labeling or public guidance. The history: past taste-altering episodes, baking soda coffee, mouthwash whiskey, show us that product residues have long impacted flavor. the solutions. From waiting 30 minutes, rinsing, switching to SLS-free or flavor-neutral toothpaste to broader policy changes, there's a toolbox of options. The personal angle. My own switch to an SLS-free toothpaste highlights that preference shapes the best solution for each of us. In short, toothpaste doesn't magically poison orange juice. It merely changes the stage on which your taste buds perform. Understanding the underlying mechanisms let you make an informed, personalized decision, whether that's a quick rinse, a different product, or simply a little patience. Thank you for listening. That's a wrap on today's Stuff You Should Think About episode. I hope you found this deep dive both entertaining and useful. If you did, hit that subscribe button. Or bookmark this page, drop a comment with your thoughts, or suggest another everyday mystery you'd love to see dissected. Remember, this podcast is for informational purposes only. All statements are grounded in current scientific understanding, historical records, and public policy. Until next time, stay curious, keep brushing responsibly, and enjoy that orange juice on your own terms.